Ben White does not have to play or accept a call up to England if he doesn't want to, right? We can all agree on that. If Ben White doesn't want to play for England, no one should hold up a gun to his head. Like, I think representing your country should be the greatest honor. And I don't really understand a reason why a player wouldn't want to. But for whatever reason, if he doesn't want to, he should not be forced. At the same time, I think the Athletic said Ben White wasn't overly pleased with his playing time, right? So if Ben White isn't happy not starting or not getting a lot of minutes, again, if he doesn't want to represent his country, that's fine. However, Ben White does not have a God-given right to start for England or get minutes for them. And as a football fan, you should not be mad about that. There is a 26, 23-man squad. Only 11 players can start. And for the most part, during the tournament, 16, 17 will realistically feature. If every national team only called up players that were going to play significant minutes at the Euros, every selection would be 17 players. You need to fill out the squad. You need to have players even if you know they're not going to play. Aaron Ramsdale will not play a second at this Euros. He's still going on the plane. And again, this isn't directed at Ben White. This is directed to a lot of Arsenal fans. You can't be mad at Gareth Southgate for this reason. You can't be mad at Gareth Southgate for not starting Ben White or for not giving him the minutes that you believe he thinks he should play. Because let's face it, Ben White is not a better right back, in my opinion, or at least he's not going to start over Kyle Walker, Trent, and if he was fit, Reece James. He's not a better center back than John Stones, especially not for his country. And you can argue about Maguire, but Maguire, A, has never really put a foot wrong for England. And if Southgate thinks Maguire is better than him, that's football, bro. We've all played. Rightly or wrongly, we've all been left out at some point, unless I have some absolute ballers in here. We've all been left out by a manager because they think someone else is better. And we get upset about it, but that's life, bro. That's life. Only 11 players can play, and the coach's decision is final. Now, obviously, there's more that went into this. Steve Holland, from what I've heard, and from The Athletic as well, too, I think has disrespected Ben White. I think he has. And there's two sides of looking at this. At the end of the day, we've all had managers or coaches that we don't like working under, but I think you have to swallow your pride a bit. But at the same time, too, like I said, no one's holding a gun up to Ben White's head. So if he feels like he's been disrespected, don't join the team. That's fine. Like, go enjoy your holiday. Go spend time with your family. Go keep yourself fresh for the rest of the Arsenal season. I have no qualm about that. But this whole thing of like, oh, if I were Ben White, I wouldn't want to sit the bench for Maguire either, or I wouldn't want to sit the bench for a washed Kyle Walker either. That's a rubbish way of looking at things, bro. That's a loser mentality. I don't think that's the reason why Ben White isn't traveling with England. I think there's more to it. But you guys trying to defend Ben White's decision to not go to his country because of that reason and not because of the Steve Holland thing, I think is loser shit. Only 11 players can start, and realistically, not everyone is going to get minutes at this Euros. You just got to tough it out, bro. You got to tough it out. But if you don't want to, that's fine. But Arsenal fans in particular, who I've seen on Twitter, kind of moaning that, oh, if I were Ben White, I wouldn't want to play because I wouldn't want to sit the bench for Maguire. Come on, bro. Come on. Not every player can play. You got to tough that out, bro. Yeah, the Steve Holland thing, yo, I'm with you guys, right? I'm 100% with you guys. Think he's entitled to chill at home if he likes, but then can't be upset if people talk about it. Bro, if he wants to chill, that's fine, bro. Like, there's been plenty of players that have decided to retire from their country early, or they decided that they don't want to be represented. That's fine, bro. That's absolutely fine. But as a football fan, if you exclude the Steve Holland stuff never happened. We found about the Steve Holland stuff late. Right? That article came out late. Before that happened, the only thing that the public knew about Ben White was that he was unhappy with his playing time and he asked to go home. And that's when people were getting upset. You guys don't really have the right to be upset in that situation. Now, when other stuff like the assistant coach taking digs at Ben White or questioning his professionalism, that's something to be upset about. And that's not something that Steve Holland should be doing. But about purely playing time, guys, there are always going to be players that get left out of the starting 11. That's football, bro. That's football. This guy said Southgate lied in his presser. This whole campaign is BS. Let me tell you, look, I'm not a big fan of Southgate, but I think Southgate in that situation was kind of screwed over because realistically, he had three options, and I think all three options people would have criticized him for. He could have either left Ben White out of the team and not explained it whatsoever, right? That's option one. He could have said, I'm just leaving out Ben White. I don't owe you guys an explanation. People would have been pissed off. Why are you leaving out one of the best right backs on form this season? Right or wrong? Chat, let me know. If he had left Ben White out of the team and not explained his decision, people would have been pissed. Yes or no? Yeah. Okay, we can agree on that. The second option that he could have done is he could have left Ben White out of the team and said word for word what went down. Explained everything. Said Ben White's upset with his playing time. Ben White's upset with Steve Holland. Ben White doesn't feel like he has to deal with this shit. You guys would have been upset about him that way. You guys would have been upset with him the same way Man United fans were upset with Ten Hag, saying that he questioned Sancho's professionalism. He exposed stuff in the media. He brought private information public. People, I'm not saying you guys in particular, people would have been upset about that. Yes or no? Yes or no? For the drama, everyone wants to hear that for the drama, but realistically, Ben White would have been upset that he brought a private matter into the public, and people would have said, you guys should have just kept it in-house. Yes or no? Correct. The third option is what he did. Leave Ben White, say that Ben White chose not to play, and don't go any further than that. I think people are still criticizing him for that, but I think that was probably the safest thing he could have done. I think any option he chose, people would have been unhappy about it. But I think this is the way that he respects Ben White's privacy to an extent. He keeps the drama in-house. He doesn't expose anything that's happening in the England camp, and we move on with life. I think this was the best thing he could have done. Correct me if I'm wrong, guys. If you guys disagree, then I'd love to hear your opinion. But I think he was kind of damned if he did, damned if he didn't, and this was the safest thing. Do you think Southgate should have just put an arm around him and convinced him that he's needed? He could have done that, but if he doesn't play him, then let's be real. Actions speak louder than words, bro. He said Ben White and Steve Holland didn't have a falling out. If he said that, then okay, I hear you. He probably should have just said no comment, or he probably shouldn't have commented on Steve Holland whatsoever. I agree with you guys there.